On July 19th, one team will lift the World Cup at MetLife Stadium and collect a check for $50 million, the largest team payout in the history of the sport. It sounds enormous. To the players who actually win it, it is smaller than you think. And next to what this tournament generates, $50 million is close to a rounding error. So here's the real question. The 2026 World Cup will move billions of dollars. Where does all of it actually go? Start with the prize money because that is the part people see. FIFA set the 2026 prize pool at $655 million split across all 48 teams. The champion takes $50 million, the runner-up $33, third place $29, and every team that crashes out in the group stage still leaves with $9 million just for qualifying. That pool is up 65% from Qatar in 2022, when the entire pot was $440 million and Argentina won 42. Here is the part that gets skipped. That $50 million does not go to the players. It goes to the National Federation, the country's soccer association, and the federation decides how much the players actually see. Across most federations, the player share lands somewhere between 20 and 30%. So the team that wins the biggest prize in the sport splits a fraction of that check between the whole roster, while the federation keeps the rest to fund itself. The number in the headline and the number that hits a player's account are two very different figures. Now zoom out, because $655 million is the player's slice, not FIFA's business. In the 2019 to 2022 cycle, FIFA reported record revenue of $7.5 billion. For this cycle, the one built around the biggest World Cup ever, FIFA's budget projects around $13 billion. So the prize money handed to the teams is a single-digit percentage of what the event brings in. The competition you watch is the product. The money is made somewhere else. So where does it come from? 4 buckets, and the first one dwarfs the rest. Broadcast rights. In the last cycle, selling the rights to air, the matches brought FIFA $3.5 billion, about 45% of all its revenue. For 2026, broadcasting alone is projected to clear $4 billion. Europe is the single largest market, and in the United States, Fox reportedly paid over $400 million just for the English language rights to the last tournament. Then sponsorship, the second bucket, worth around $1.8 billion last cycle. It is sold in tiers. Top-level FIFA partners, names like Coca-Cola, Adidas, and Visa, are estimated to pay between $70 and $100 million a year each for that association. Below them, World Cup sponsors and regional supporters, then licensing and merchandise, then hospitality and tickets. Broadcast and sponsorship together are about 70% of the whole machine. The trophy is the show, the rights are the business. And if you want proof of how aggressively FIFA chases that rights money, look at what it did in 2025. It launched a brand new 32-team Club World Cup and attached a $1 billion prize pool to it. Read that again. A club tournament in its very first edition paid out more than double the $440 million that the entire 2022 World Cup did. Chelsea won it and walked away with over $100 million for a few weeks of work. Where did that billion come from? A single global broadcast deal, reportedly worth about $1 billion on its own, with the streamer DAZN. FIFA is not just running the World Cup anymore. It is manufacturing new tournaments because the broadcast and sponsorship money is there to be sold. The tickets tell the same story. For 2026, FIFA took ticketing and hospitality in-house and rolled out dynamic pricing, the same model airlines use, where the price climbs with demand. Seats for the biggest matches can run into the thousands of dollars, and that money does not go to the city selling out its own stadium. It goes to FIFA. The hospitality and ticketing line, worth under $1 billion last cycle, is budgeted to more than triple this cycle, mostly because FIFA stopped outsourcing it and started keeping the full margin. Here is the structural piece most people never hear. For all of this, FIFA is registered in Switzerland as a non-profit association, not a corporation in the way you would picture one. A non-profit. That structure means much of its revenue is redistributed rather than taxed as corporate profit, and Switzerland has long offered favorable treatment. FIFA channels money back to its 211 member associations through development programs, funds its operations, and sits on reserves that ran near $4 billion after Qatar. So when you ask where the billions go, a big part of the answer is back into the system FIFA itself controls, under a tax setup most businesses this size could never touch. Now the question nobody hosting wants to answer: who pays for all of this, and do they make it back? Not FIFA. The host countries and host cities carry the costs. Security, transport, staffing, stadium prep, and here's the trap. FIFA recently moved almost all the tournament logistics in-house, which means host cities signed contracts where they absorb most of the costs but get limited access to the revenue. Reporting on the 2026 cities describes a collective shortfall of at least $250 million, and at least one outlet called it the worst deal in host city history. Costs for a single city can run well over $100 million. Smith College economist Andrew Zimbalist puts it bluntly. Host cities do not benefit economically because they get the costs and not the revenue. An Oxford study of mega event hosts found every single one went over budget. When the United States hosted in 1994, host cities underperformed their own economic forecasts by an average of $700 million. 2026 is at least cheaper to stage than Qatar, which spent a reported $200 billion on infrastructure because North America already has the stadiums. But cheaper to build does not mean profitable to host. The money still flows up to FIFA. Which brings us back to why the prize pool jumped 65% in one cycle. The expansion. The 2026 World Cup went from 32 teams to 48, and from 64 matches to 104. More matches is more inventory. More inventory is more broadcast windows and more sponsorship to sell. FIFA did not raise the prize money out of generosity. It raised the prize money because it raised its own revenue first. The bigger check for the winner is downstream of a much bigger check for FIFA. So back to that $50 million trophy check. It is real and it is a record. But it is the smallest, most visible piece of a much larger machine. The World Cup is not a prize competition with some sponsors bolted on. It is a broadcast and sponsorship business run by a Swiss nonprofit staged largely at the host city's expense that happens to crown a champion at the end. That is why the same $50 million looks life-changing to a player and looks like a rounding error to FIFA. Same number, two completely different worlds. Follow the Sports Files on all platforms for your sports business content.